This report is intended to shock and confront you. Australia's thriving economy and low unemployment rates make it one of the richest countries of the world, and yet just over 2 million of its citizens are still living just below the poverty line. What effect is this having on Aussie kids? And what role is Australia's education system playing?
To illustrate the effects a low socio-economic status has on a child's development, Bronfenbrenner's model will be used to provide the framework. Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory emphasises environmental factors as playing the major role to a child's development. In this theory, there are 5 systems: the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and lastly, the chronosystem. The microsystem is the environmental system in which the individual has most interaction. These contexts include the person's family, their peers, their school, and neighbourhood. The mesosystem refers to the relationships between the microsystems, or the connections between the contexts. For example, the connection between family experiences and school experiences. The exosystem is concerned with the connection between a social setting in which the individual does not have an active role. For example, a father may receive a promotion at work which requires longer hours at the office, thus affecting patterns of interaction with the child. The macrosystem describes the culture in which the individuals live. Culture meaning the way of people. Cultural context would include socio-economic status, poverty, and ethnicity. Lastly, the chronosystem refers to the patterning of environmental events and transitions over the life of an individual, as well as socio-historical circumstances. For example, a socio-historical circumstance would be the increasing opportunities for women to pursue a career. And to provide the context for our understanding is Jenny. Jenny's story is just one of many about children growing up with a low socio-economic status.
So what effect does living in poverty have on these children? Poverty influences various components of a child's development, including their physical development, their socio-emotional maturity, and their cognitive functioning. The adverse effects of poverty begin long before a child takes their first breath. The effects of poverty can be felt by a child while still in their mother's womb. Fetal development is adversely affected if the mother experiences poverty. Having insufficient funds to purchase nutritious food, prenatal vitamins, and healthcare are at the top of the list impacting pregnant women living in poverty.
The effects of poverty can also have negative consequences for a child's social and emotional development. For example, long-term poverty has been associated with individuals exhibiting internalizing behaviours, such as anxiety, social withdrawal, and depression. The social interactions between the child and the parent or caregiver shapes their social and emotional well-being. When these interactions are inadequate, a child's social and emotional development is inhibited. The third area of concern is how poverty affects a child's cognitive development. Education is often used to measure one's success. For children growing up in poverty, receiving an equal education is often out of reach. Research from 10 leading authors have established that poverty during early childhood is associated with negative academic results. The most discussed factor affecting a child's academic success is stress, as the effects of stress have significant effects on their brain development. During childhood, the brain is at its most vulnerable, and it is extremely sensitive to elevated stress levels. When a child experiences elevated stress levels, the body produces higher levels of cortisol and catecholamines, which adversely affects certain areas of the brain, particularly the hippocampus, which is important for memory. Lastly, how does childhood poverty affect one's adult life? Research shows that those who experience persistent poverty as children are much more likely to be poor as adults